What's going on, Magic fans? I'm Kendra Douglas, the team reporter for the Orlando Magic, and welcome to the Orlando Magic Game Day Live, the access that we are giving you guys to get a little bit of the behind the scenes of what's going on with the Orlando Magic. You just saw Anthony Black warming up. So if you look to the side, you will see the times of all the guys warming up. That's your opportunity to see them get together. And we're going to try to give you a little bit behind the scenes of what's going on. You're going to hear from head coach Mosley. You're going to hear from Jake Chapman. So welcome to the Orlando Magic Game Day Live. So tonight is inclusion night, and we have a special guest. Let's bring on Malcolm. Malcolm is here with us. Thanks for joining us, Malcolm.
Thanks for having me, Kendra.
So Malcolm is a Special Olympics athlete, but he's also into journalism. And from what I've heard and talked with other people, you know your numbers, you know your stats, you know everything. Tell me, how fun has it been so far being here in the Kia Center?
It's been exciting, Kendra. I'm just in a blast being here, and it's an honor and privilege that
I heard that you already talked with head coach Mosley. Tell me a little bit about this Orlando Magic team. What are you noticing about them?
I've noticed that they played really well on Sunday against the Cavs. They had a trip. I'm looking forward to seeing if they can win the They went 3-2.
Yes.
With a huge win over the Cavs on Sunday. If they could just get some big wins here at home and on the road the rest of the way, they should be able to make a playoff spot.
Oh, I love that energy. All right. I don't know if are we back on? Are we good to go? I think we are good to go. So they are hearing you. They are understanding you. So we're good to go. All right. So if you guys are just now tuning in, we've had a little bit of malfunctions, but Malcolm just said he thinks that the Magic, they're going to make a playoff spot, especially what they have got going on, which I appreciate hearing because we love to hear that.
Yes.
But for you to be here tonight and experience this, I mean, if you guys are listening to Malcolm's voice right now, he has the voice of a gold radio guy, TV guy. What is your ultimate goal?
My goal is to be a sportscaster, Kendra. You know, the first one with superpowers, because if they see me with superpowers and they realize that I could do this, they can do it too. So that's my goal ultimately.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you guys get to be able to talk with you.
Yeah.
You're about to hear head coach Mosley. You're a part of this NBA group already. Have you had such a fun experience so far?
It's been an exciting experience today, Kendra, and I'm looking forward to the night.
Oh, what are you looking forward to the most against this team? You know the numbers. You know what's going on. What are you looking forward to the most against the Magic taking on the Rockets?
I want to see if the Magic, can build momentum like they did on Sunday against the Cavs, get off to a good start, and try to slow down this young and feisty Houston squad tonight. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most tonight.
You know that the Houston Rockets, they are a team, this Magic team already played, and they took on Steven Adams, who had 17 rebounds. 11 of those were offensive rebounds. You have Alperen Şengün, you have Fred VanVleet. You have a lot of heavy hitters.
So they have to dominate the offensive glass tonight against the Rockets. I know Steven Adams and Alperen Şengün is a challenge, but I think the Magic are for it.
I love that. All right, Malcolm, thank you so much for joining us on the Orlando Magic Game Day Live. I'm so excited for you to enjoy this game, and you're going to hear from Coach Mosley. Any last comments, words you want to say?
Go Magic.
I love it. I love it. All right, thank you for joining us. You can head that way. Yeah, no problem. You guys just heard from Malcolm. He is a Special Olympics athlete. He is also interested in journalism. As you heard, the man knows his numbers. He's great at just understanding the game. He's covered hockey, he's covered football, he's covered basketball, he's covered so many sports. So on Inclusion Night, it was so great to have Malcolm joining on the group chat with us, the group chat. That is literally what we do on the weekdays, joining the Magic Game Day live with us. So I'm excited. All right, I'm gonna try to take some questions from you guys while we are here. We got Dan Savage in the background, but he can't come on just yet because, okay. I make the rules, yeah. AB, the GOAT. Yes, you guys are checking out AB. I love how you bring a smile to the face every time I watch you. Are a great asset to the broadcast. Thank you. I appreciate it. This broadcast group, this team, everybody, it's just a great organization to be around and to be a part of. So I'm excited that we get to create these memories and do fun things like this and be able to speak to a lot of other people. We're going to hear from Vanessa, who is the Houston Rockets sideline reporter. She's going to give us a little bit of an insight and talk a little bit about the team and what it's like covering the team. And we'll try to hear from some other people too as well. So make sure that you guys lock in. You guys are on the Orlando Magic Game Day Live. You're going to hear from me. You're going to hear from Coach Mosley. You're going to hear from Jake Chapman. You're going to hear from Dan Savage, all to get you ready for tonight's game against the Houston Rockets. So who are we seeing warm up? AB. How about we talk about AB? What a performance from him just the other night in Cleveland on Sunday. The way he had those timely three-point shots to help the Magic get out in front, his defensive behavior as well, the steals he had in that game, all adding up to just what he's able to offer coming off the bench. So great performance from him. Who is starting tonight? Well, you have to wait and find out. Sometimes Coach Mosley will talk about it in his pregame presser, so you have to just wait and see who is starting tonight. Oh, Walk the Dog says, I hope Corey is the starter. Corey's done a very good job coming in as a starter, especially since Cole Anthony has had the strain in his big toe. He's done very well. But I mean, you have a 14-year veteran. He is going to perform. So it's good to see Kojo out there as well. Duval said, I love a win tonight. I had a rough few days. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about the passing of your brother. I think that the Magic would love to give you that win as well. Can we please have these before every game? These are great. So this is what we're doing every game, actually. So if you are just now joining in or just now kind of understanding what is going on, we're doing a Magic Game Day Live every home game, and we're starting to do them on the road as well to give you guys that behind the scenes access of what it's like during a game day. So you're going to see the guys warm up like you're watching now. You're going to hear me talk and do some interviews with people as well. You're going to hear from Coach Mosley. So yes, we want to keep these going for you. Thank you for saying that, because we're trying really hard to make sure that you guys have that exclusive access to the Magic. Do we have Suggs availability date next season? Jalen Suggs is out for the rest of the season. I know sometimes you might not hear things in there, but yes, the announcement is he is out for the rest of the season. He had surgery 2 weeks ago, I believe. And so they were getting the remaining cartilage out of his knee. So he is out for the rest of the season. I love how you guys are also having conversations within the group, within the chat. Please keep that going. I love that. Keep having conversations with each other. It's fun to kind of like interact with you guys and see what's going on. Let's see what else we got. I think Pro AB is more powerful. That's so funny. And then there's someone who says braided AB is definitely evolution. I love this. I think Pro AB, where'd he go? I think Pro AB is like, I think you have both. Both are great. But I love that this is a conversation that you guys are that you guys are talking about. Okay. We're trying to get through some of your comments now. Corey has been great starting, giving us that leadership. I think when you bring in guys like KCP and Corey, you are bringing in that leadership role. So it is really good to see both of them kind of add that value to this group. I mean, Corey has won a championship. He knows what it takes. He's bringing in that veteran presence for them as well. When he's starting too, he's just, his court vision on the floor has been very well too. Like, it's really good to see his playmaking ability too. So yes, I agree. Having Corey has been really great to have. Oh my God, someone called me the GOAT. Thanks. We need Mo Wagner back. He brings the energy. You'll get him back next season, you know? So he is going through his process too. As you guys know, he tore his ACL, so he is out for the remaining season as well. What are your thoughts on our season so far, Kendra? We have had 50 seasons in 1 year. It's just been crazy with the injuries, and just, you know, the guys finding a way to bounce back, being resilient, having a little bit of a slump. You don't know where that slump is going, but then you get a crucial win like you did Sunday against the Cavs, and that brings back that spark and that energy. This team has been through it all. I think they'll look back at this season and say it was probably one of their most resilient, strongest season that they had, and that they were able to just come together and get those big wins during the regular season. I think that if this Magic team continues to do what they need to do, we have 13 games left, including tonight against the Houston Rockets. If they are able to get what they need to do, take down Atlanta, take down DC, I see them doing very well in the playoffs and figuring this out. So we are also kind of just people. This is also what it's like on game day. You have people who are just coming in, being able to sit and watch the players warm up and everything. So this is all a part of the game day experience as well. So yeah, you literally are seeing what's happening on a game day. Okay. I hope KCP stays aggressive. He was a big part of our win in Cleveland. I agree. He was a big part of the win, and indeed. All right, let's head over to see head coach Mosley talk to the press. So let's get on that way as I go grab my notebook. So you guys get to kind of see a little bit of the behind the scenes of what's going on and walking through the hallways to get to the press room. So we're gonna head over that way. So this is the back area too. If you guys are also new, this is where the Magic, well, this is where Houston actually comes through. I'm good, how are you? I know, right? We needed that. They needed that. They needed that win on Sunday. Okay, we are going, you never know who you're gonna see. We're gonna head into the presser where Coach Mosley is gonna be speaking, and then we will lock back into you after.
Coach, against the Houston defense, it's as tough as it is. What do you want to see your group do to help generate some offense tonight?
Well, we've got to play a lot faster. I think that starts with our ability to finish possessions off and then get out and run early. You don't want to play before their defense is set. Combat some of the physicality and the switching by some off-ball movement and motion. Being able to not to have the ball stall out. But again, that ball's got to pop. It's got to move around the perimeter. And then once we attack, we have to attack with force to get to the rim. And once we realize they've collapsed, then we've got to make sure we're spraying it out, making sure we're hitting guys ready to knock down shots.
How's Cole doing?
Cole will not go tonight.
How does that? Are you going to stick with Corey then?
Yes.
Rebounding was had such an impact when you guys played at Houston. How much about rebounding is like effort versus technique?
A combination of both. You got to want to go get it, but you got to hit guys first. Obviously the league is so big and 3-point shots now, so long shots equal long rebounds, and so our guards' ability to get in there and rebound right around that free throw line area, because there's going to be long shots there, but our bigs are going to be down there battling, and so our ability to help those guys out and come back and finish the rebound by hitting guys first and then going to pursue the rebound.
Kenny's obviously a guy that's been around the league a long time. This year he's worked with a lot of different starting point guards. Just how have you seen him kind of adapt in the backcourt defensively, offensively, just in those different roles?
Well, I really just think he just finds a way. Like you just said, he's worked with so many different backcourts, so many different guards, understanding what to do. And he's a vet. He understands exactly what's needed. His communication with these guys, with Corey, with AB, early on with Jalen, those guys communicating to one another how they want to mix guarding different guys up. And no matter who he's on the floor with, he's going to guard a certain way that we'll continue to need.
Just offensively, you mentioned needing to play faster against a team like Houston. How has Corey helped you guys kind of be able to do that, whether it's in transition or in the half court?
I think it's just really his ability to push right when that rebound hits his hands. He's looking to get out and go, cross that ball over half court by 21, and then just getting us settled, getting guys into their spots, understanding where they need to be, just being able to command the floor in that way.
Coach, you coached both Amin Thompson and Jabari Smith Jr. on the USA Select team, and even though no Amin tonight, I'd like to ask you about them both as individuals. What impressions did they make on you as far as their maybe play on the court and their work ethic, even off the court?
Both great kids, first and foremost. I think they want to be great. They continue to work. They ask the right questions. Just understanding of the game, I thought that was great. And Amin did such a great job this year before his injury. Just he was coming on so strong. His just ability to make plays, running the point, decision making. Defensively, he's very unique. Jabari has been great. Just knowing him over the years, he's done a great job of just accepting whatever role's been given to him, and that's, I think, is just a unique quality of a young man that, where he was drafted, but to also understand exactly what's needed for the team, whatever moments he's been given.
Coach, how has this team changed process-wise from a year ago, around March last year, to now?
Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, so the results were there last year. You were in the top 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the results aren't there this year, how are you seeing this team grow?
I think there's a maturity of understanding that you're not the team from last year because roles have changed, the lineup has changed, the people on the court have changed. All these things are different for us right now, so you don't want to look back last year as much because things are entirely different. You have to look at the moment you're in and the reality you're in this moment. And right now there are guys out that we won't get back, but understanding who we have in that locker room, accepting the role that they're in and what they're needed to do every time they step on the floor. Results, we've talked about it from the beginning of the year. March and April, you want to be playing your best basketball to give yourself an opportunity to get where you're trying to go at the end of the year. So I think how we're playing is continuing to improve from the couple weeks ago to now. So I think that's going to be very important as we trend down on this back stretch.
Coach, obviously Paolo's been scoring the ball really well since the All-Star break. But recently in his last 4 games, he's got 17 assists and just 4 turnovers. He struggled with turnovers a bit coming out of the break. Have you seen more of a concerted effort from him, just taking care of the basketball, just sort of a more of a comfort level and making sure that guys get to their spots and he's making the right play?
I think the easiest answer is yes. Yeah.
Anything else? All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, you guys were just continuing to watch a little bit of the guys warm up, but this is my favorite part because I get to bring on some of the sideline ladies, and there are men too, within the NBA. And this is my girl, Vanessa. She's with the Houston Rockets. And Vanessa, just talk a little bit about just your experience working with this team, this organization, and what's been fun about it.
It's been so much fun. And like you, our guys are young, defensive minded, and they're experiencing a lot of growth. I think Jamal Mosley and Ime Udoka are two of the best coaches in the league. And so my first fun thing about tonight is just kind of those similarities. But my experience with the organization has been awesome. And, you know, I came in during what was a lean year.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the draft picks that Rafael Stone picked and then the vets that Rafael and Ime brought in, everything has come together really well. And it's been super fun.
You get to work with some great athletes on this team as well. And we saw a little bit of that the last time we were in Houston. So just talk to us a little bit about what it's like working with guys like Fred VanVleet, not just on the court, but off the court as well, interviewing them and just hearing their stories. What is it like working with some of these guys who are big stars?
Yeah, big stars. Fred VanVleet, of course, a champion and somebody that he is the coach for the Rockets on the court. So he's been incredible. Dylan Brooks, yes, he has the villain. He has the villain, what do you call it? Reputation, persona.
Attitude, yeah.
But off the court, he is amazing. He's a total sweetheart. And Jeff Green, the other veteran that they've brought in. So it is really cool to balance out. You know, we have all these really young guys, but we also have these veterans that are stepping up and teaching them not just about on the court, but how to take care of their bodies, nutrition. And it's been really cool to see.
One more question before we let you go to your coach's press conference. The West is a tough league to go through. Talk a little bit about just playing in the West. You do get to see some amazing matchups, but what is it like, just going in and out with those teams?
I mean, you're watching the standings every day because even if your team wins, maybe everybody around you is winning. And if you drop a game, I mean, truly think it is going to be crazy right down to the wire. And when you take inventory and you look at the Timberwolves, but even a team like the Clippers have gotten healthy and have a great win over the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
So it's just truly on a night-to-night basis. We know what OKC can do. That's kind of the given. But right now, you know, we're rocking that number 2, and it's going to be interesting to see. You know, I think the play-in tournament, which knock on wood, I don't think we're going to be in, but the play-in tournament is going to be fascinating as well. So the West is a bloodbath, and it is quite the thing to go through.
We're getting some comments and people loving having you here. A lot of people are also just talking about the Orlando Magic at this moment. But either way, so happy that you could join us, my girl. We're gonna let her get to her coach's presser, and we'll see you within the game. So thank you, and have
See
fun.
you soon.
All right. I'll see you. All right, guys, you just heard from Vanessa and the Houston Rockets team reporter and sideline reporter. And I mean, she had some great things that she had to say about this team because, as you know, and as we saw them play against Houston the last time, it is going to be a battle of two teams that are kind of very aggressive, and they play very aggressive as well. So it should be a great game tonight. We are going to head back into the arena, which I know when we get back into the arena, it'll be a little bit hard to hear me. So want to say thank you for joining us. Make sure you stay on because you'll hear from Jake Chapman in a moment. And then we'll have Courtside Countdown with me and Dan Savage coming up. So don't forget to lock in, stay in with us. Keep the conversations in the chat going though, guys. I love what you guys are saying. You guys have a lot of cool things and cool conversations. I plan to get to those moments during Courtside Countdown. So stay locked in, stay with us because I would love to talk a little bit about everything that you guys are talking about in this chat as well. And let's keep it PG on here as well too. Let's make sure that we are nice to each other and we are nice and we say some clean things on here. So let's be generous, friendly, and I'll see you guys when we start. All right, bye.
no condiments. From Barranquilla, no argument. She going hard like a gallo. Don't care what they say, hella fight, no. I'm chilling with babe with my eyes closed. Got the champagne with my blindfolds. I'm a flight in Miami, shopping and tripping with Moosey the family. Drop top when I drop down. Acting hella savage like I'm Randy. I'm on 1,000, living my life like I don't get no hoots about plan B's. My life something like a Tahoe. Yours something like a Camry. Yeah.
What's up, Magic fans? Jake Chapman here with you, and it is Orlando Magic Game Day Courtside Countdown, and you are looking live at Franz Wagner's live warm-ups. I am the radio voice of the Orlando Magic. We're going to have the radio call tonight beginning at 6:30 with the pregame show. Opening tap at 7 o'clock. Brendan Kravitz will have the pregame show for you on 96.9 The Game, our flagship station, AM 740 here in the Central Florida area. You can always listen on the Orlando Magic app or the iHeartRadio app as well. And if you're outside of the listening area, you can check us out on Sirius XM or the NBA League Audio Pass. Game number 70, if you can believe it. Just 13 games remaining. We're coming down the stretch here, and the Magic coming off what I think you could call the win of the season against the Cavaliers on Sunday afternoon, and now hopefully a little revenge in mind for these Houston Rockets who manhandled, basically, the Magic last time we saw them. That was back on March 10th in Houston. Hit us up on the YouTube page in the comments section. We got a whole lot of conversations going on. If you have any questions about tonight, if you want to make a point, if you just want to tell me that Kendra's better than me, I agree with all of those things. But I'll try to get to as many comments as possible, as quite the conversation going on here. Got Electro24 says, I just hope we beat the Rockets the same way we beat the Cavaliers, but this game won't be easy. And Electro24 sounds to me like you watched that Magic Rockets game from a little over a week ago, now the beginning of last week, in the middle of that road trip. That was a 97-84 Rockets win, and a game where the Houston Rockets absolutely controlled the glass. And so that is going to be my first key for tonight. And Duval T87, you're teeing me up, brother. He says, what are the keys to victory tonight? Coach Mosley will tell you, and I'm just going to echo the sentiment of our head coach, that rebounding is going to be one of the main keys tonight. And it was the main key in the Magic's loss in Houston about a week and a half ago. The Steven Adams led Houston Rockets absolutely dominated the glass in that game to the tune of 63-42. Magic were minus 21 on the glass that night. And this is a Magic team that has been a really good rebounding team all season long. They've been the best in the league at limiting second chance points for the season. The Magic allowed just 11.5 second chance points a game. That night, it was 20 offensive rebounds for the Rockets for 19 second chance points. And against a team that defends the way that Houston does, which is to say very, very well, you just can't give them 2-3 cracks at a bucket each time down the floor. And it's just demoralizing when you defend well for 20, 22 seconds of a shot clock, force a miss, and you're for another 14. And so the first key for tonight certainly will be trying to control the glass a little bit. at least better, at least try to fight him to a stalemate. And that starts with Steven Adams. And much easier said than done, keeping Steven Adams off the glass. The guy is an absolute mountain of a man, and he's still just 31 years old. He had the injury, which is how Houston was able to trade for him for not much. They give up Victor Oladipo's contract and a couple second-round picks to pluck him away from Memphis. And granted, he was hurt last year, missed the entire season, but he's been awesome for Houston through 47 games this year. Comes off the bench, he just does what Steven Adams does well. He sets screens and he crashes the glass, and he was absolutely a problem for the Magic in Houston about 10 days ago. And so key number one will be keeping Steven Adams specifically off the glass, but Alperen Sengun had 11 rebounds that night as well. 7 of those were on the offensive glass. So Coach Mosley will tell you, we got to play Magic defense, and we know what that looks like, but then you got to finish off the possession, make sure you are cleaning up the defensive glass, and then getting out and pushing pace. And that was another thing that Coach Mosley just said in his pregame press conference. Houston is such a good, solid defensive team that anytime you can get some early offense going before this team gets its defense set, they are physical. They're going to load up on Paolo and Franz, as we know. If the Magic can get, across midcourt at the 21-second mark on the shot clock, get into some early offense and get some shots up before that Rockets defense gets set, they're going to be serving themselves well. So the Magic have always been looking for offense that's sort of aided by their defense and kind of manufacturing early offense that way. The Magic are never going to be the Showtime Lakers pushing pace up and down the floor all night long. But when you defend well, clean up the glass, and get out and go and try to get some early looks before the Rockets get their defense set, that's a big key tonight as well. How about the three ball? The Orlando Magic, believe it or not, have been shooting the three pretty well. Last 8 games, the Magic 14th in the league, shooting better than 36% from three-point range. So that'll be a big key, and that was something that did fail the Magic against Houston back on March 10th. Orlando 8 of 32 from three-point range, and the Rockets knocked down 16 threes that night. Certainly was a big swing. Jabari Smith Jr. had 20 points. He was actually Houston's lead scorer. They got really good balance, and Houston does get really good balance. They have 6 guys on roster that average over 11 points a game. So they can hit you from a lot of different sides. Magic did a great job, I thought, that night with Jalen Green. He shot 6 of 18. He's sort of their lead scorer. They didn't have Fred VanVleet that night. He'll be back tonight in the rotation, so certainly you got to try to defend him well. But just defending the three ball, it's something the Magic have done well all season long. Even the amount of three-point attempts, the Magic do a good job of running teams off the three-point line. Even allowing 43 three-point attempts is a little out of character for this Magic team, but certainly 16 made threes for Houston was the big key that night. Look, that was a game where the Magic held a team under 100 points and lost for the second time this season. Usually that's the Magic number, but Orlando's, as good as the defense played against Houston, the offense was about as bad. The Magic shot 32.6% in that game. Held the Rockets under 40% from the field, but as I mentioned, those 16 made triples, I think, were a huge swing in that game. Let's check the comments section. Jake Chapman here with you, Magic Radio. We've got the Rockets coming up pregame coming your way at 6:30, and then the opening tap at 7 o'clock on 96.9 The Game, our flagship station here in Central Florida. Or, as always, you can listen on the Orlando Magic or iHeartRadio apps. Let's see here. We've got Shelby Hughes says, yesterday was my 25th birthday. Hopefully our guys bring me a present. Win. Go Magic. Happy birthday to you, Shelby. We appreciate you. Our Magic family out there. Electro24, if Orlando brings that Mamba mentality to this game against the Rockets, we should be able to win. I hope we win. And then Jay Curve, our buddy, says, Goga and Wendell each just have to box out very well because Paolo can pick the boards as well as J.I. Yeah, Coach Mosley saying this morning, getting back to that rebounding point, it's not a one-man job. Sometimes you need 2 bodies on Steven Adams and then 2 more bodies sweeping in and trying to grab those rebounds. The Magic have a lot of guards who rebound well. Cole Anthony, one of those guys, he's not going to be available tonight. But Corey Joseph in the starting lineup has certainly held his own. He's 2-2 as a starter, and I think you'll like the pace that Corey is able to run the Magic offense with. And he's not bad at grabbing rebounds as well. Kojo will get it and go. And so I think it's got to be a team effort tonight, keeping not just Steven Adams, but Alperen Sengun as well off the glass. And, Goga Batadze spoke this morning at shoot-around. He said you got to do everything with Adams. Sometimes you got to face guard him. You just sort of lock eyes with Adams, shadow him and mirror him with your movements, and then just keep him off the glass or away from the basketball, and then somebody else can sweep in and grab that rebound. Magic are 24-11 when they win the rebounding battle this season, so that's going to be an absolutely huge key. How about first quarters? That's been a big key for both teams this year. The Rockets are actually one of the best teams in the league at defending in the first quarter, and this goes back to the beginning of the season. The Rockets allow just 27 points per game in the first quarter, and that is good for third in the league. The Magic are kind of inverse. Magic are the best team in the league at defense in the fourth quarter. But getting off to good starts, especially since Corey Joseph's been in the starting lineup, has been a big key. That was something you did see over the course of that road trip in the Magic's wins. The Magic were able to get off to really good starts. In that game against Houston, that was not necessarily the case. Now, the Rockets were pretty slow offensively as well that night, but it was 23-19 after the first quarter of that Rockets game last week. So ideally, the Magic able to defend to that level, but able to get the offense going a little bit on a better foot tonight. And clearly that starts with Paolo and Franz. Paolo Banchero has just been on another level over the last 15 games. He's averaging over 29 points per game. That's second in the league. The percentages are up. He's shooting 46% from the field over that stretch, getting to the free throw line over 9 times a game. Rebounding, as J. Curve mentioned, over 7 rebounds per game over the last 15. And Paolo's been knocking down the three, shooting 37% from three-point range. So that's going to be a big key tonight. Now, the Rockets do have, as I mentioned, a really good defense. They're fourth in the league in points allowed, but they've got a lot of different options and a lot of kind of functional size that they can throw at Paolo and Franz. Obviously, you're talking about Dylan Brooks, who's one of the best wing defenders in the league, but Tari Eason's a little lesser known. He's a really good defender within that starting lineup. And then a guy who, you know, Magic fans are very familiar with as far as Jabari Smith Jr. goes. Young cat, he's in his third season, obviously came out the same year Paolo went, and a lot of rumors that the Magic were locked in on Jabari Smith Jr. with that top pick in the draft. This is a really good role player in Jabari Smith Jr. He was the third overall pick 3 seasons ago, and so sometimes you think the expectations when you're drafted that high are like all-star caliber player or bust. This guy lit us up in the first matchup of the season with the Rockets, had 20 points, made 5 triples, tied a career high, and then he's coming off a 30-point outing against the 76ers the other day. He's a 6'10 wing. He's just a really solid role player, and so I think kind of keeping him under control. But as I mentioned with the Rockets, it's kind of pick your poison. One night it'll be 30 points from Jalen Green with Fred VanVleet back in the rotation tonight. We know what he's capable of. He comes in averaging 14 points a game, but he's a 38% three-point shooter. He's very good, and then you look down the bench, you got some options there as well with guys like Cam Whitmore, Jayshawn Tate, and Alperen Şengün. Again, he had his first All-Star appearance this year. The Magic did a great job with Şengün last week, with the exception of keeping him off the glass. He finished the night kind of quiet offensively, just 5 of 9 from the field, 13 points and 5 assists in that game. Şengün's a guy coming in. He's averaging over 19 points a game, 10 rebounds. He gets you a double-double every night, and then 5 assists a game. So he can do a whole lot of playmaking from that high post spot. Alperen Şengün is absolutely a load, and the Magic are going to have to try to replicate the job they were able to do with him the last time we saw these guys. Checking out your comments here on the YouTube section. Make sure you keep them coming. Let's see. Jay Curve said, yeah, I was going to mention Cole, but remembered he wasn't playing tonight. Get well, Cole. I talked about Cole Anthony a little bit today on our radio show, Magic Insiders. Cole, you know, the reason he's out is that toe that's been bugging him. I think probably 99% of the rest of Cole's body, the other 99%, needs a rest as well. Cole has been so consistent and so solid for this team throughout the season. And it's crazy to think about the fact that in November, Cole Anthony was out of the rotation. Now, let's see, he has played 60 games for you, and he started 22. He's just been exactly what you needed to provide a little bit of just sort of solid play as far as the backcourt goes. So, but Cole plays one speed. He's hitting the deck for loose balls. He's flying in and rebounding. A couple days off could serve Cole Anthony very well. And the Magic game tonight, and then a game on Friday up in Washington, and then the whole weekend off. So a couple days off for somebody like Cole Anthony, who's been really busting his butt all season long, I think could absolutely make a huge difference. See, we're getting a look right now at Tristan Da Silva, getting his warm-up shots up, and I think I'm going to toss down to the floor now, and we are going to move along. Make sure you check us out on the radio broadcast tonight, the audio broadcast, 6:30 pregame show with Brandon Kravitz. We'll have the call beginning at 7 o'clock, game number 70, as the Magic take on the Houston Rockets. You can hear us on FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, or as always on the Orlando Magic app or the iHeartRadio app. And if you're outside of the listening area, make sure you listen on Sirius XM or the NBA League Audio Pass. Jake Chapman signing off. We'll send you down to the floor.
Do we have drip photos? What's up, guys, and welcome to Courtside Countdown. I'm your host, Kendra Douglas. Thank you so much for joining in with us today. As you guys have heard, we have been doing a lot, or chiming in, because I'm still seeing the comments coming in. But as you guys have noticed, we are doing a lot with this Orlando Magic Live, which are happening on game days. It's allowing us to give you guys the access of behind the scenes, hear from guys on the team, hear from Coach Mosley. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. We had Malcolm on the show a little bit ago, and he is a Special Olympics athlete. He's also someone who's a part of Inclusion Night, and just hearing him and how excited he is to be here has been so much fun. He has the voice of a guy who should be on radio, should be on TV. He got to cover the Super Bowl in New Orleans recently. So we've been adding some moments on here as well. I want to get to some of your comments too, because there is a lot going on this group chat today. You guys are loving what's happening with the Magic. You're hoping for a win tonight. We are hoping for the win tonight as well. The Orlando Magic team, we're back home. We are excited to be back home. I am excited to be back home because that 5-game road trip was a doozy. It was a long road trip, and we're so excited to be back in the Kia Center. Of course, the Magic on the national stage, playing against Cleveland. That game was amazing. We got to check out those highlights for this game. This was a performance also where it was good to see the bench just get involved. Everyone on the team played a role in that win. The Magic snapped the Cavs' 16-game win streak, a team that was coming in with a great offense, but of course, taking on a Magic team with a great defense as well. You had guys like Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell. We knew he was going to get his tonight, but still the Magic, they were able to find ways to contain him. He was 9 of 28 from the field. I think that's a great way to slow down a Donovan Mitchell, who also, I want to say, missed a couple games before this one too. So he was well rested and probably wanted to have a great night against this Magic squad. But also, what a great opportunity for this team to show that they can continue to dig in and keep fighting. They were down 13 going into the half, but then they came back out and they were able to outscore Cleveland. Wendell, he also grabbed a double-double in this one, 16 points, 14 rebounds. Let's take a look at the final score page. You see the final score from Cleveland, 108 to 103. You see also the rebounding and the assists very close. This team played a very close very close game with this group too. It was great to just see how the Magic, they were able to use their defense to just hold this team down. The Cavs were held to under 105 for their third time this season, and their 25% three-point shooting was their second worst mark of the year. Let's listen in to Paolo Banchero and Anthony Black as they spoke about this win and how important it was for them.
What does a game like this, a win in this building, mean for this group at this point in the year?
Yeah, it's a big win. Last game of the road trip, we knew this was going to be probably the toughest game, just coming in here on national television against, one of the better teams in the league, also on a win streak, so big win.
But what does a win in this building on national TV mean for this group?
A lot, Obviously, with the way it went last time, we played them. We knew we had to come in and respond this game. And just with everything that happened last year, throughout the year and in the playoffs, just a big game for us. So we did a good job coming together and rallying to come back and get the win.
All right, you just heard from Paolo Banchero and Anthony Black, and we're joined by the one and only Dan Savage. Did you miss us?
We did. We missed you. We did like a few different iterations
of
road courtside countdowns and stuff like that, but it wasn't the same as sitting on this Kia Center court here with you.
Oh, I love hearing that. Well, you just heard from the guys, like I just mentioned, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the way that Paolo Banchero played and Anthony Black played. First, let's talk about Paolo Banchero, because since the All-Star break, which I saw people said they want to see more Paolo highlights, warm-ups. We'll give you some Paolo warm-ups when he comes out in a few. But since the All-Star break, he's been insane. He's had 3 games where he's had scored 40 or more, 7 games where he's had 20 plus. He had 24 in this last game and 11 rebounds, 7 assists. What did you like about his performance against Cleveland?
He's just getting to spots and taking care of business. What I liked most about that Cleveland game, and he talked a little bit about this, is he had a play where he set up KCP for an open 3 in the final 2 minutes. And then for his go-ahead shot, they ran a similar play, and when he saw the defense start to alter, he took advantage of the spacing, knocked down the go-ahead shot, the Magic go on to win. And so he's just seeing the game at such a high level right now, and I think that's allowing for him to be more efficient, cut down on turnovers, and have such high scoring totals. I mean, the guy averaged over 30 points per game on that road trip, so he's certainly got it cooking.
It feels like we are starting to see Paolo of what we would have seen if he wasn't injured. I think that what you're seeing now is just the same thing that you would have seen before, but I think honestly we might have seen it turned up a little bit more after the All-Star break, because he said too, he's got his legs under him, he's feeling better, he's getting into that groove. This is the Paolo Banchero we know and love and we've always wanted to see.
No question, and we said that a few times. Look, the guy's never dealt with a major injury in his life, high school, clean, college, etc. So for him, it's both an adjustment of trying to get conditioning back and figuring out how to deal with the recovery process. So Magic did a great job of helping him along with that. And we're seeing as the games go by that he's getting more and more into form. So scary for the rest of the Eastern Conference.
I was just talking about Wendell Carter Jr. and his efforts too as well, because he was someone in this road trip you wanted to see a little bit more from, and I think he gave that too in Cleveland.
No question. It's good that you bring it up because we talked to Wendell a little bit about that, and I think he realizes he's been struggling from the field, from the three-point range this season. So what he really sat down and tried to do was figure out, how can I be more effective if my shot's not going in? And it was really taking a different mindset and approach, being very aggressive, controlling the glass, being dominant on the defensive end, and trying to help this team push the pace. So Wendell's starting to do that, and I think we're seeing more and more stat lines that we're used to seeing from Wendell. Because as they say, if you use the energy, other good things will come.
Yes, for sure. I talk about him because he's also signing autographs right now. You got to love what this organization and these guys do for people out here.
Off the court, is there anybody better than Wendell Carter Jr.?
He literally does it all. I wish we had a camera to show you guys, but he's just over here doing the best that he can for people who come to these games. But I want to talk about the bench performance. Anthony Black as well, someone who also was a little quiet during this road game trip, but turned up at another level. Coming off the bench, had those 2 timely 3-point shots, finished with 17 on the night. He had 2 steals that were helpful as well. This is a guy that I think does very well coming off the bench, and he can just lock into his game.
Now, when the Magic went on their second half run, especially there in the fourth quarter, he helped flip the script by applying pressure full court, giving nightmares to Cleveland's backcourt. And I think he's another guy that when he realizes how much he could dictate the game just by playing with high energy defensively, the game will become easier for him because those turnovers really generate offense for this Magic team.
Yeah, you see his stats this season so far, averaging 9 points, a little more than 2 rebounds too, and 3 assists. He's someone too that this is just his second year, don't forget, and I think he's already made a change and a difference going into this second season for him. So I want to get to some comments because someone mentioned something that I thought was really good. Did Dan visit the Wolves today? And did they have a prediction for us tonight?
I did. Good memory.
Yes,
every
great memory.
every Wednesday, regardless of game schedule, I find time to volunteer at a wolf sanctuary.
Okay.
And the vibes were very high today.
Okay.
So I would say if the Wolves gave me any impression, we're going to turn it up on defense and be the more physical team tonight, which may be a point of emphasis later on.
That is definitely a point of emphasis because that was definitely a point of emphasis in Houston too. Let's take a look at those Eastern standings though while we are talking about where the Magic land because there's 13 games left including tonight. You see that the Magic, they're in 8th. Every game counts. This is one where it's also going to be flowing and the ebbs and flows, especially when you talk about teams like Atlanta, when you talk about Detroit too. I'd bring Detroit in that conversation too because the guys can do it.
You never know what could happen down this stretch of the season. Crazy things always seem to happen in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I think for the Magic, the goal is just playing your best basketball because if you do that, you'll climb up the standings and you'll put yourself in a position that regardless of where you end up, you can advance past the play-in and into the postseason.
You know, I agree more. I couldn't agree more because if you look at the West too, we don't have that, but in the West standings, that's also a group it's just back and forth. It's one game a night. This is a team, the Houston Rockets, they're a team that they're trying to get out of the play-in as well. This team is also one that's trying to get out of the play-in. So you have 2 teams that are going to be very dominant and very focused to try to get themselves out of the standings and in a good area in the standings.
No, the Rockets being towards the top of the West, their focus all season has been, can they get their best version of their team on the court? And although they're down to Amen Thompson right now, and they're trying to figure things out, they are going to have Van Fleet, who we didn't see last time. And, they have a front court with Şengün and Steven Adams that really can give this Magic team trouble. So you have to be ready for a physical, all-out dogfight tonight.
You do. So, Dan, I noticed it too, and I came in. So, that's a great notice. Buckin said, "Is that a new haircut?"
Went and got the ears trimmed a little bit or whatever, raised, lowered, whatever they call it. Yes, did that for this edition of Courtside. I feel like I had to bring it back with a bang.
Okay, I love that. I love the fact that, our viewers know when there are changes being made.
Love that they're locked in. That's the kind
of
attention to detail that you need to have the game plan tonight.
Yes. All right, I think Paolo Banchero is on the court. That's someone who you asked for, and
You asked
Gary
me?
Harris, excuse me. It's Gary Harris that's on the court. You guys are asking for more guys to watch them in warm-ups. We're going to give you more guys watching warm-ups. You see Gary Harris, another guy who also was a little quiet in this road trip, but had a great performance against Cleveland.
Yeah, Gary does 2 things for you, and especially like he did on the road trip. It'll bode well for the Magic going forward. Look, his presence on the court alone creates spacing for a lot of guys. He is viewed as a three-point threat around the league, regardless of what his percentages could be at times.
Yeah.
The game plan calls for you to close out to him, and opposing teams treat him that way. And when he's locked in on the defensive end of the floor, like he was during periods of that road trip, he can help flip a game. And so just a veteran. One of the things I don't think fans realize about Gary is how much he communicates. When you see him in the game, guys tend to lower their mistakes because Gary's pointing everything out.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem like, he's a pretty laid back, quiet guy, but when he's out there on the court, he's sharing his wisdom. And I think that's why he's stuck around as long as he has with the Magic.
Yeah, and I also would like to say it has been told that Cole Anthony will be out for tonight's game. So you bring in Corey Joseph. And I have enjoyed speaking with him because when I talked with him, he was telling me a little bit about just how when you have a moment like this, you take advantage of it. You understand your role and you become a star in your role. And he has become a star in his role. He's been ready when he is called up to start these last couple of games. He's been able to just perform the way that this Magic team has wanted. What do you like about how he is being able to perform?
That's a great question, Kendra. And I think the thing I like about Corey Joseph the most is controlled, well-harnessed energy.
Yeah.
He knows when this team has to push the pace, when that's essential. He'll, be calling for the inbounds pass right away after a made basket. And then he also knows when to slow things down, when this team needs to play with tempo and be more controlled with the basketball. So his ability to play with controlled pace is something I think this team really values. And then his ability to set everything up across the floor. Look, there is not an offensive set in this league that Corey Joseph hasn't run or on the flip side hasn't seen. So he knows what's coming. And I think with a team with a lot of young players, that's a very valuable asset to have.
It truly is. I saw someone comment saying, can you watch the game here? No, you cannot watch the game on the Orlando Magic YouTube page.
But where can you watch it, Kendra?
But you can watch the game on FanDuel Sports Network, your home for the Orlando Magic. When Dante and the crew will be getting you ready around 6:30. That is to be the Magic Live pregame show. So you can see right there, you can watch the game at 7 p.m. That is also this is a great way for us to transition and talk about the Rockets too. This season, this is what's going on. This is how many averaging points that they've had, rebounds and assists both teams have had. Let's talk a little bit about this Rocket squad because they are one, like you mentioned. The guys didn't see Fred VanVleet last time, but you also have Jalen Green. Talking with Paolo when we were in Houston, that's someone also he has a great connection with. He's known Jalen forever, and he says when he gets going, he does not let up.
No, he is a bucket getter, a scorer's scorer, your scorer's favorite scorer type of kind of guy where he could heat up in a moment and just start lighting it up all over the court. Very aggressive going to the basket when he decides to do so. Will try to throw down on somebody's head. So he's a guy you have to be aware of at all times because he could heat up and flip the course of a game in an instant.
You see his numbers right there. This is what he's averaging so far this season. Yeah, he is someone that is a bucket getter for sure. And he also, they just came in playing against Philly. He had 30 points, career high 13 assists against Philly. This is a team that loves to move the ball.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think that's what they did well by bringing in some of the veterans that they did a season ago when they decided to add a guy like Fred VanVleet, add a guy like Dylan Brooks. Was those veteran presence, those guys know how to win, what it takes in this league. And I think they've shared that with some of the young guys on this team because you look at the way that Jalen Green's playing now.
Yeah.
Before those veterans got there, before Ime Udoka got there, he wasn't playing that way. A little too focused on getting his own shot, trying to cement his place in the league. Now I think he feels secure with that. He's been guiding the right way, and he's playing winning basketball right now.
I love that. Before we get to Şengün, I want to hear someone else told me that they've been a Magic fan since the 90s.
Love that.
Wow, love that. Will Dawson, our favorite, says, hello, Kendra and Dan. It's Will Dawson. We see your name. We know who you are, sir. I was born a Rockets fan, but I still like the Magic and other NBA teams. So it's good to have all these other mix of people coming into the chat and talking with us. Keep it coming, keep it going. We want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Şengün and what he's been able to do for this Rockets team. But then also you got to include Steven Adams in that conversation as well.
Correct. Alfred Şengün is one of those guys that's a stat sheet stuffer.
Yeah.
averaging a high-end double-double with almost 20 points, over 10 rebounds per game, and then has high assist number 2. That's the one thing. When the ball goes down low to him, it's not necessarily stopping and going up for a bucket. He can draw 2 and kick out, and he's just a valuable player for them all around.
He had his 40th double-double in that win against Philly. I mean, it's insane what he has been able to accomplish. Here are his stats right there. You see the assists, you see what he's doing in points, but also, like I mentioned, him and Steven Adams were 2 guys that you have to look out for. Steven Adams had 17 rebounds against the Magic. 11 of them were offensive rebounds. This is a team that also likes to crash the glass.
No question. One of the top rebounding teams in the NBA. And what you really have to worry about them is on the offensive glass.
Yes.
Because over the last 5, they're averaging almost 20 offensive rebounds per game. They put up that rebound total against the Magic the last time they met them with 20 offensive rebounds on the dot. So those are a lot of additional opportunities for a Rockets team that already knows how to score. The amazing thing was in that outing, the Magic gave up 20 offensive rebounds and still held the Rockets under 100 points. So imagine if you cut that number in half, what kind of performance the Magic can have.
Obviously, it's going to be a good one. I'm excited because I think what you heard in Cleveland was that this game was a good momentum builder for them. It was a great opportunity for them to realize what they are capable of doing, know what they're capable of doing. So I think you're going to see a different type of team because here's the thing. I thought that they were physical and they met their physicality when we were in Houston the first time around. Houston just ended up getting the better half of it.
Yeah, sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way.
Yeah.
And you look, in that game, there were some long offensive rebounds that the Magic actually boxed out well for, had the positioning right, and the ball just doesn't go your way. It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But for the Magic team, they just have to stay physical, continue not to give Steven Adams or Alfred Şengün additional opportunities. And look, if the ball does bounce their way, don't let it deflate you. Stick with the possession and try to end it and close it out with a rebound.
I think that this is a great segue to your storylines. Let's get to them because here's the thing. What you and JT do very well is say exactly the things that need to be done. And this is my moment where I'm really hoping this Magic team's watching in and locking in on us.
Number 1, be physical. We talked about it. That doesn't just mean on the glass. That means all around, attacking the rack, trying to get points at the rim. Number 2, close out possessions. They had 20 offensive rebounds last time. Can't have that. Can't have turnovers. Got to close out the possessions, not give this Rockets team additional opportunities, and you could have a good defensive performance. And finally, push the pace. When you do get the offensive or get the defensive rebound and close out a possession, you got to get back and attack this Rockets team before their defense gets set because they have the number 4 defensive rating in the NBA, and they've got a plethora of guys who, if you let their defense can get set, can make it hard for you on the offensive end.
Mosley talked about that closeout possessions, and he says you don't fully close out possessions until you also get the rebound.
Correct.
So it's great what you're saying because it is so true, especially against a squad like this that just dominated in that area, and I think that really was a turning point for them in that game. So now that they can take away from that and learn from that as well. Also, you have Fred VanVleet, who's warming up behind us on the court, too. That is also a guy who you want to contain and try to close out.
No question. And it wasn't just that game against the Magic. They're at the top of this category throughout the season.
Yeah.
So it is staples of this Rockets team.
Mm-hmm.
They're averaging close to 20 offensive rebounds per game over their last 5, which is just incredible that they're able to do that on a consistent basis. So you have to play above your normal level and make them play below their normal level in order to balance that out a little bit.
You guys are seeing Paolo Banchero on the court now. You guys asked for more warm-up video of P5. We're giving you more video of P5 and him warming up and getting ready for tonight's game. Should be a good matchup to see him close out as well. When you look at what he's been able to accomplish since the All-Star break, he still leads the league in getting to the line and his free throw attempts. He still is one of the high scorers since the All-Star break. It just feels like things are going in the right direction for him.
No, as you mentioned earlier, got his legs back.
Yeah.
We're seeing the Paolo that we expected to see. He's playing at an all-NBA level right now. Hard to argue when he's, top 2 in the league in scoring since the All-Star break, is putting up crazy numbers. And what I really like is he's doing what he does elite, which is get to the free throw line, but raising the efficiency around that. over the last 5 games on that road trip. Not only did he, average close to 30 points a game, but he also shot over 40% from 3. And if he's able to do that, there is no stopping him, because if you play close to him, he's going to drive by you and make your light really long getting to the basket. And if you give him space and he's knock it down, there is no stopping P5.
There is no stopping P5, especially in this home crowd. We're back at the Kia Center. He did very well playing on the road as well. That is also something to mention. It's hard to play on the road, especially when you're on a 5-game trip, 5-game road trip. You have some back-to-backs in there.
Yeah.
It is difficult to bring that energy out night in, night out. So he had a phenomenal performance on the road.
And when you consider the quality of some of those opponents and the levels of their defense, I'm talking about Cleveland, Milwaukee, Houston, Minnesota.
Yeah.
There are very few slouches. The very few slouches in that group defensively. So not only is he putting up insane numbers, but doing it against some of the best teams in the league, if not the best defenses in the league. So his ability to do that against quality competition says a lot. And there's going to be opportunities on this back half of these last 13 games to be playing against some defenses that aren't nearly on those levels, and hopefully the Magic can capitalize on that.
Yeah, I completely agree. We are in the middle of in situations. We got people behind us because Fred VanVleet is on the court. So you know that is always going to bring the frenzy. That's going to bring the attention and everything. So that's who, if you see people behind us, is because they want to see Fred. The guys didn't see Fred last time. These photographers didn't see Fred last time. So everybody wants some Fred action. I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming games as we get you ready for tonight's game as well.
Let's see that slate.
Let's see that slate because it should be interesting. So here's my thing. We haven't seen Luka. Well, we did see Luka, but he was with a totally different team when the Magic saw him the first time around. So now you're going to see him with the Lakers. Of course, also the good conversation to talk about is this team's got to continue to get wins against DC. And then Charlotte, that should be a good one as well. Don't forget, the Lakers game is also going to be really important because that's also when Dwight Howard's going to be introduced and inducted into the Orlando Magic Hall of Fame. So that should be a good one as well, too.
Yeah, the Kia Center is going to be rocking on that night. Not only because Luka, LeBron are in the house, but on top of that, to see D12 get honored. He's a guy that's, arguably one of the most accomplished players in Magic history, if not the most accomplished player. Bringing home 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards in back-to-back seasons, helping this team get their first finals victory in franchise history. And when you go back and watch that finals run against the Lakers, who ironically they'll be playing, Magic could have easily been up 3-1 in that series, and it could have gone in a different direction. So you're talking about the guy that had this team in franchise on the verge of winning the first title in franchise history. So really excited to bring him back, have him honored, and have his proper place up there in the Magic Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm excited too. That should be a really great day. We're going to be so busy that day. It's going to be a long day.
I'm already tired from that one.
I know, but it's going to be exciting. You're welcoming him home, and you're bringing him home. So that's going to be so much fun. All right, we're going to start to close out in a bit. Dwight was a beast in a Magic uniform.
No question.
I'm in Houston, so I will watch tip-off. 2D and X said that.
Ironically, Kendra,
what's that?
Both with the team here and the 3 teams you put on there, plus the Magic, all teams Dwight played for.
Oh, yes, yes.
Played a time for the Rocket, played for the Lakers, played for the Wizards, and played for Charlotte. So all Dwight Howard teams really getting the theme of D12 there.
Maybe that's like the energy we need. That's like maybe he's bringing that aura to us right now, He's like, look, before I come home, I'm going to give you these teams that I played for. You're going to win against them.
Yeah.
And then you're going to finish strong. I like that
outlook. Good
vibes.
Thank
you. Thank you. I like those vibes too. All right. I love the comments, and thank you guys for joining us. That'll do it for us on Courtside Countdown. Now, this is your opportunity to head over to... I knew he was doing that. That was Jeff Turner. You guys, he is a clown. Head over to FanDuel Sports Network to hang out with Dante and the crew. They'll get you ready for tonight's game on Magic Live, the pregame show at 6:30, and then the game will tip off at 7 p.m. We will go and try to stop JT from getting into our shots. Thank you guys for joining us today, and we will see you when we come back home. All right, bye, guys.